So a lot of people are asking, what's the difference between a Chevrolet Trax and a Chevrolet Trailblazer? Right here, we both have the LS model. That's where the entry-level trim is for both models. And I'm gonna go over, kind of front to back, a lot of the things that you do get different when you're looking at a Trax or if you're looking at a Trailblazer. First things first, the Trax has a different style, but you can tell they're both Chevrolets. They both have this Y, this wishbone on the grille, which looks good. Headlamps are both set down into the bumper, so we do like that. And your turn signals, you can see it's an amber halogen. That's both the same. The difference is just kind of the Trax is a little shorter compared to the Trailblazer. It's a taller stature. It's about, the Trailblazer is about 83 millimeters taller than a Trax. And I'll talk a few of those advantages when we get onto the inside. The other aspect about it is, and being a taller, more or less an SUV, you get 18 millimeters more of ground clearance when it comes down to a Trailblazer. Both are gonna ride on 17-inch aluminum rims, and both have pretty much the same tire size for both brands. Now, when it comes down to the Trax, on the other hand, so as I mentioned, with the Trailblazer being a little taller, the Trax is a longer vehicle. It's about 115 millimeters longer overall. And the wheelbase is about 50 millimeters longer. Now that reflects into back seat room. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Now under the hood, we have a little bit different of a story. The 1.2 liter is the only engine available on the Trax. This one is a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder motor paired up with a 6-speed automatic transmission. Power-wise, you're gonna get 137 horsepower and 162 foot-pounds of torque. Over here on the Trailblazer, this is where it gets a little different. This one is naturally ordered with an all-wheel drive. 90% of our Trailblazer customers want and buy the all-wheel drive version. The all-wheel drive version gets the 1.3 liter 3-cylinder, so it's 0.1 liters bigger, but you also get a little bit more horsepower with this motor. It's 155 horsepower, 174 pound-feet of torque, and the Trailblazer with this motor comes with a 9-speed automatic. So between the two, they both have a 50-liter tank, and on paper, the Trax with the smaller motor is gonna get a better fuel economy. But with Chevy SUVs, this one has the all-wheel drive disconnect option. So if you wanted to, on a day like today, you could drive in front-wheel drive, saves money on fuel. Now everybody always wants to talk about cargo carrying capacity with their SUV. And when you're talking about the numbers, the Trax, because of its longer wheelbase, it has a little bit longer here, probably about 9 liters of storage space because of the depth. When you come over to the Trailblazer, yes, you get a little bit less space in this configuration. However, with the Trax and the seat folded down, that's where you're gonna get a lot of this extra generous space. Over here on the Trailblazer, I mentioned that the roof is a little bit taller. So when you flatten the seats, you actually get 9 liters of extra storage capacity in the Trailblazer. But the Trailblazer has one extra trick that the Trax doesn't offer. So you can fold the front seat down in a Trailblazer, and from your tailgate all the way up to the dash, you got 8 feet. So you did want to carry that extra area rug that you found, you can do it in a Trailblazer. Now underneath, again, we're talking about a price-sensitive product. In the Trax, when you're looking underneath the subfloor, you can see a lot of that is the exposed metal with the welding and everything. You still get a donut, a spare tire that's in there on a steel rim. The Trailblazer just does something a little different. Underneath, you get carpeting all the way around. So better insulation when you're on the road. This actually stays up hands-free if need be, and it's also a height adjustable. So if you wanted a little extra space, you can gain an extra 2 or 3 inches of depth to add more space to your roof line up here. Another thing that the Trailblazer offers is child safety lock. So it's a little mechanical switch right here. If you wanted to keep the doors shut so people can't open the doors from the inside, you just slide this over, shut the door, and now nobody can get in. The Trax does not have that feature. Now it may come down to price. And naturally, like I said, the Trax is the entry-level vehicle in the Chevrolet lineup. So therefore, this one starts, the LS model in white, starts at $23,699. I mentioned that the Trailblazer majority, like 9 out of 10, majority of the people who buy these get the all-wheel drive. So it's not really a fair comparison, but this one here in white, $30,699, including freight and air, Canadian dollars. But you got to remember, about $2,000 is the difference just for all-wheel drive alone. Now on the inside is where you're going to notice a couple of changes, but similar feel between the two SUVs. One, with this Trax, you get your analog gauges both on your tach and your speedometer, and you also get a driver information center that's more of a two-tone gray on black readout, and with a lot of the changes for your vehicle and your maintenance schedules that comes in through here. You get your manual HVAC controls. Up here, you get an 8-inch infotainment system. And if you move up to an LT and above, you get an 11-inch infotainment built with the Google built-in. This is more based on our Chevrolet MyLink. And here you get a USB-C outlets as well. You get a 12-volt for your charging outlet. But one thing that I've noticed in this being an entry-level model, aside from your standard safety equipment, which is the same on both vehicles, the Trax comes with heated seats, and that may be the deal breaker between the two SUVs. Now inside the Trailblazer, like I said, similar but different, where this piece of glass that houses the infotainment system, that is the same. However, a Trailblazer gets 11 inches of infotainment system, similar to a Google built-in when you move up to higher models, where you get a little bit more of a quick start menu over here, plus your vehicle settings, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, that's all standard equipment. The other aspect is you get this digital driver information center where everything is all on the screen. You don't have any analog gauges, and you can change the appearance of your digital readout for yourself. You still get the similarities of USB, USB-C, plus a 12-volt charger. I said before, you get an all-wheel drive disconnect, so it's just a button that comes in right through here. All the standard safety equipment is the same in both vehicles. Both the Trax and the Trailblazer were ordered with the driver confidence package. So in this comparison, you're still going to get blind zone alert, rear park assist, rear cross traffic alert, and lane change alert in either vehicle. And one thing that the Trailblazer, its standard equipment, is push button start, where in the Trax you have to use a key. So it's a comparison between the two models. Some people may look at the Trax as a better price. Some people may look at the Trailblazer with the option of all-wheel drive as their decisions. But either way, this is where you do have a choice of something smaller like a Trax, or just slightly taller, a little bit more cargo carrying capacity with a Trailblazer. Come on down, talk to Trent. We can talk about these SUVs.